Hi guys, this is Rebekah from angelfoods.net. I wanted to share with you the secrets of all things cake pop. I know, cake pop's real. If you haven't tried a cake pop, you are missing out. I can't think of anything else to say. They're a fudgy, truffle-like cake ball that is going to rock your world, guaranteed. Cake pops. Oh, dude, cake pops. Okay, cake pops are the bomb. They are a new fad, and it started in America, so Australia cannot claim it by any means. Cake pops are massive in America, and it literally is cake ball on a stick. But it's so much more than that. It really is. It's fun to look at because, a big lollipop for kids and big kids alike. It can be packed full of flavour. It can be a really fudgy, truffle-like consistency, which it's just indulgent. It's just your little bit of heaven just for you. And the flavours you can pack into a cake pop are amazing. Today we're going to do my Chocolicious. So this is a chocolate mud cake dipped in dark chocolate with a white chocolate drizzle over the top. But how you can flavour them and how you can decorate them really are limitless. I recommend Googling cake pops and checking out the images out there. They're pretty cool stuff. I do a lot of just round cake pops that sit up. So this is for the markets, and this is for cafes and restaurants, and this is for birthdays. They use the same thing. But you can do a lot of funny characters and shapes out of a cake pop. So you can mould them as well, and then dip them in chocolate. So if you've ever read a cake pop recipe, it will say dip in a melted candy, dip in a candy, and that's an American expression for chocolate. So right now, let me tell you, it's chocolate. They do a lot of colouring of chocolate as well. So you can buy chocolate already pre-coloured, or you can colour your own. So you've got two options. So pre-coloured chocolate can be quite expensive. It's about $10 for a 400 gram bag, or you can colour your own. So you'd have white chocolate, and you've got to use a special powdered colour for chocolate, which is oil based. So look for an oil based food powder. That's what you use to colour chocolate. Now you can get that from cake decorating shops, or Robert's Confectionery. In Australia, if you Google Robert's Confectionery, they actually do that very well. So you can get lots of different colours and create your own. And then you can decorate in edible balls and glitter and chocolate drizzles and lots of different things. So first you'll need chocolate for a cake pop. I use the Kerry Pinnacle brand, which just happens to be a bakery supplier, a bulk bakery supplier, and it costs me about $6 a kilo. And it's quite a good quality compound chocolate too. I do like the flavour of it. It has a nice crack to it as well. But you can use the Nestle chocolate from the supermarket. Working with the Nestle chocolate for cake pops is a little bit special because it's a really good quality chocolate, but it gets a really thick consistency. So how to thin down your chocolate would be to add a vegetable shortening. So again, you might have read that in American recipes, and they might say use Crisco, and we don't have that in Australia. That's not what we use. But Australia's version of a vegetable shortening or of Crisco is Copha. So just from the supermarket, Copha, about $2.50 or $3 for a block, and you use that to thin down the chocolate. So I'll show you later how to melt the chocolate. You've got to melt it slowly and carefully. Be gentle with it. You don't want to burn it. But as long as you start with a really good basis of chocolate and you know how to use it, you know how to warm it, and you know how to thin it, you will have a brilliant cake pop. The other secret to a cake pop is the cake crumb. So the basis of the cake pop is the cake crumb. You can use any flavor, so you can go red velvet, you can go buttermilk, you can go Madeira, you can go mud cakes, you can go vanilla cake, carrot cake, hummingbird, you can use anything. I use chocolate mud cake a lot. It's very popular, just the same as cake flavors. And what you do is you process it. So you put it in a food processor and you're going to blend it so it first becomes a cake crumb, and then it starts thickening and condensing the cake crumb so it goes fudgy and truffle-like. And it takes about 3 minutes in the food processor. So some recipes say you can do it by hand, and you can, but for the consistency I like in my cake pop, I do have to use a food processor. So you will need it for this recipe. And I'm going to use my chocolate mud cake, like I said, so very popular. So you've got those to start with. What else you will need? You'll need some bowls for melting chocolate. You can either use stainless steel, and that would be to use over a bain-marie, over a saucepan to melt chocolate, or you can use plastic bowls, plastic spatulas, and melt your chocolate in the microwave, which is what we're going to do today. You'll need some cake pop sticks. So that's these ones here. These ones are plastic. You can either get plastic or cardboard ones. These are the plastic ones. I do prefer them because you can reuse them as well. The cardboard ones you can't, you have to throw them away. Now you can buy these in packs of like 24 from your cake decorating shops for about $8 probably. They are a bit expensive, but you can bulk buy them. You can buy them by the kilo from cake decorating shops, and they cost me about 16 cents a stick. So I think $70 a kilo, including postage, something like that. So they're the cake pop sticks. You will need them. This is the 15 centimeter ones. You can get the half size, 7.5 centimeter, which is like the Chubba Chup size. So if you want to do mini cake pops, that would be a size. Otherwise, 15 centimeter you want. So cake pops, you'll need a baking tray and a piece of baking paper, and that's so you can roll the cake balls up and put them on the tray and into the freezer. You'll also need electronic scales. You do need electronic scales if you want each ball to be very similar in size or exactly the same. You'll need electronic scales because it goes to the gram. So these ones cost about $50, comes with batteries. You can buy more batteries, so do have a set of those. Then to dry your cake pops, you are going to need a stand of some description. And this is just a foam block, a floral foam block from my cheapie shop. And I've just poked some holes in there for the cake pops to dry. So that's so they're sitting upwards and they dry in a perfect ball. So if you're going for a really pretty perfect ball, you'll need either a foam block or you'll need a styrofoam block. And then I've also brought along to show you as well is the cake pop bags. So if you're selling at the markets, for example, or giving away as gifts, and or they're going in lolly bags for the kids to take home, you package them up in bags. So these bags are 130 millimeters by 100 millimeters, and this is a pack of 100 for $12.50. So they're about 12 cents each, 12.5 cents each. And then to bag them, you can either use twist ties, you can use ribbon, and also you can use this one. Bakeries use it to close their bread bags. So I'll show you how to use that later. So that is a sticky gun, which I got from my packaging shop, and that cost I think about $30. And you get those, you can buy the sticky tape rolls from them as well, which are only $1 or $2 each. So we've got the food processor, we've got the cake, we've got our chocolate. Let's make some cake pops. So to do your cake pops, you bake off your cake, whatever flavour like I said, let it cool, then put it in the freezer. This is the secret. Work with frozen cake. You will get the better consistency. If it's warm, it won't work. If it's just cool, it won't work. It has to be cold. It will be the best way to do it. So you'll need your food processor, like I said. I've actually got a bigger wattage one because I do a lot of cake pops, so it works the motor a fair bit. This is a 1400 watt, and I do love it. I've had it for ages. So your cake crumb, just break it up into pieces and pop it into your food processor, just so you're helping the food processor a little bit. And don't overfill it, don't overwork it. So it doesn't matter what shape your cake is, doesn't matter if you've got cupcakes left over and you want to use that, you can, that's not a problem. Any shaped cake, slab cakes, absolutely fine. So that's probably enough, 3/4 full, don't overfill it. Pop your lid on and you're going to blend it. You're going to process it for a good 3 minutes to get it to the right consistency. And I'll show you what it looks like. All right, so you can hear it was starting to make a funny sound, and that's just because it was getting thicker and coming together. So if I pull it out, pop it into a bowl, and I'll show you the consistency. So it's come together nearly into one big ball. Just get it before it's one big ball. And the idea is you're looking for it to be that consistency. You can easily roll it into a ball. So now if this was room temperature, that would fall apart because it's way too warm. So it was probably about 2 minutes, maybe 2.5 minutes in the food processor. That's the consistency you're looking for. If you can't roll it, it's going to be a bit hard. You can fix it, however, if you add a bit of buttercream or ganache and stir that through, cool it down in the fridge and see if you can roll it into balls then. That will be the only way you could fix it. So very cool, very, very cold cake. That's the secret. So I'm going to process the rest of this and we'll make some cake pops. All right, you've got all your cake pop cake done, processed. Now you want to weigh them off. So this is what you need the electronic scales for, and I weigh them to 30 grams. It's a really good size for the 15 centimeter cake pop sticks like I was telling you. So you don't have to worry about the 1 gram either way, if it's 29 grams or 31 grams. But if you get them as close as possible, you're going to have that uniform professional look. Fantastic. So if you keep weighing them off, then you need to roll them. So it's the same as rolling cookies. You want to move it around in the palm of your hand so that you're getting it as round as possible. So you can spend 2 minutes on each ball if you want, but I don't want to. I just go for pretty close. You need to pop it onto a tray. So to dip the cake balls into chocolate, you want them to stay on the stick. So one, that's why we keep it as cold as possible, and that's why I like it as fudgy as possible. It's going to stay on your stick, it's not going to fall off. And then also you need to cool these cake pop balls down. So every recipe has different times and where to put it. Some people say put it in the fridge for 3 to 4 hours. Some people say put it in the freezer for 10 to 15 minutes. I normally put it in the freezer for about 15 to 20 minutes. Basically you want them really, really cold without them being frozen, because you need to be able to get the cake pop stick into the ball. So that's what you're aiming for. If it gets too frozen, just pop it either on the bench for a couple of minutes or into the fridge, just so it thaws out just a little bit. But be careful not to do it too frozen, because as it's warming up, as it's defrosting, it's going to form condensation. It's going to form water, and water and chocolate react a little bit. So you're going to have discoloration on your cake pop. So yeah, so aim for the timeline that you can get to your cake pops at 20 minutes. So what I usually do is 28, 30 grams. What I normally do is roll all the cake pops, put them into the freezer, melt my chocolate, because I like to spend a little bit of time with my chocolate, give it a bit of love, and then it should be the right time to then go dip your cake pops. So if you set up your timeline that way, it will work out. All right, so I'm going to roll some more cake pop balls. Basically, this tray's going to get full. I'll pop them in the freezer, and then we're going to dip some cake pops. All right, the cake balls are in the freezer, so I'm leaving them there for 20 minutes. I'm keeping an eye on the time. And then you'll need your chocolate. You need to start melting your chocolate now to get it ready in the right consistency, right temperature for dipping the cake pops. So you will need bowls with deep sides. You can get some like soup bowls that are quite deep on the sides you could use, but I do love these bowls. I usually use this one all the time. So I've got dark chocolate. I'm going to dip them in dark chocolate with a white chocolate drizzle. I've got probably about 1 kilo of chocolate there. You won't need all of it by any means, but if you use more chocolate, you're not scraping around the bottom of the bowl trying to get the last of it out, and it won't be wasted. What you do is, once you finish melting it, you put it on a bit of baking paper, spread it out thin, let it set, snap it, and then you break it up into pieces, then you can remelt it again later or use it for mud cake later or whatever you use chocolate for. So you don't worry about wastage at all, it won't be wasted. And in the white chocolate, you only need a couple of 100 grams really. That's probably about 500 grams there. But again, it won't be wasted. You're just using it as a drizzle on the side of the cake to give it, it finishes it off. It really finishes it off. I do recommend having at least 2 points of interest on your decorations of a cake pop. So I've got the dark and white. People just love the look of it. They just go amazing together. So temperature wise and microwave wise, I did say you have to be gentle with the chocolate. Give it a bit of love, spend time with it. You cannot overheat chocolate. You burn it, you throw it basically. So instead of popping that in the microwave for 3 minutes, pulling it out, it's burnt, throw it in the bin. What if you spent 5 minutes just doing it slowly? So how I would melt 1 kilo of chocolate would be, I would put it in the microwave for a minute to start with, give it a stir, put it back in the microwave for 30 seconds, give it a stir, another 30 seconds in the microwave, give it a stir, and then see how you're going. You might need another 30 seconds after that, maybe, maybe not. But what you're doing is you're testing the temperature of the chocolate all the time. So just keep touching the side, and if it's warmer than your hands, it doesn't need any more heat into it. It's going to melt itself. So what you do, just stir it for a minute or two, and it will melt. It'll just melt slower than putting it in the microwave and burning it. So just do it slowly. So pull it out, stir it. I know if it doesn't even look melted at all, doesn't matter, stir it, because there'll be little hot spots in there that some of the chocolate has started melting. So you need to stir it, because if you put that hot spot back in the microwave, that spot's burnt. And then if you stir it after that, you've burnt all the chocolate. So always stir, okay? Even if it doesn't look like it doesn't need it, stir it. I use plastic spatulas because the wooden ones actually absorb a bit of moisture, and they'll absorb some of the oils out of the chocolate, and you really want to keep the oils in there as it was made. So this is a compound chocolate, like I said. It's a Kerry Pinnacle brand, which is quite a good chocolate. The most popular you can use is usually from the supermarket. So you've got the Nestle as the most popular probably. You can use any type of cooking melting chocolate. Nestle brand, I do know in particular, is quite thick. It's a very good quality and it's very thick. So for dipping and drizzling, it's not perfect, but you can make it so that it is the right consistency. And I was telling you before about the vegetable shortening, which is Copha. So you would want to just cut off, just say 2 millimeter strip off there, which would be about maybe a teaspoon of Copha. Once it's completely melted and it looks too thick and it's not dipping in the cake pops properly, that would be when you add a teaspoon of Copha into it, stir it through, check the consistency. Still too thick? Another teaspoon of Copha, put it in till it's correct consistency. And in all honesty, you won't need much. You'll probably need a tablespoon at the most. Maybe a little bit more than that, but add it slowly again, because if you add too much Copha, too much vegetable shortening, it's going to make it too thin, too runny, and it won't set. The chocolate won't set if it's too runny. So that's why I say add that slowly and check the consistency at each stage. So I am going to melt my chocolate now. I'm going to pop this in the microwave for a minute. I'm going to pull it out, stir it, put it back in the microwave 30 seconds and keep doing that, and then I'm going to do the white chocolate, and then we're going to dip our cake pops. So I've just set up my little bench space for doing cake pops. So I've just pulled the cake pops out of the freezer. They've been in there 20 minutes. They're really rock hard, but still a little bit of give, so I know the cake pop stick will go in. You need your melted chocolate, you need your cake pops sticks, and then you need a tray of some description, a stand, so that you can pop them in for the cake pops to dry, but I'll show you in a sec. So first, dip the tip of your cake pop stick into the chocolate, and then you're going to push it into the base of the cake pop. I go for 1/2 to 3/4 in, and then you dip it into the chocolate. So I usually, because there's not much chocolate, it's not as deep as the cake pop, I dip it on an angle, coat it all, and now you just got to let it drip off a bit. So keep spinning your cake pop around so that the chocolate is evenly coating all of it, and there's always going to be a drip as well. Like a lot of people wiggle them around to get the drip off, or they smash it against the side. I just kind of let it fall. It's up to you. You just have to be patient with it. It takes about 45 seconds probably, and it will start to set because the cake pops are hard, are cold I should say. The chocolate will set quite quickly, and it's just about there now. So there's a little bit of drip need to come off, and it's quite shiny as well, and now that's going to dry, because if it wasn't quite done it'd drip all the way down the stick. So I usually try and get these done 2 at a time. So you pop 1 in, pop 2 in, and then we're going to dip them both. So 1, and swap hands, and 2, and then let them do their thing. So there's a really nice gloss on here as well. Now if you're wanting to add balls or hundreds and thousands to the cake pops, now would be the stage while it's wet. So I'd be doing it 1 at a time, and I'd have the sprinkles there, and when it was just about this stage I'd pick it up and coat it in sprinkles. So it's still wet, but it's not going to get chocolate everywhere. Alright, so they're dry, pop them in. Now flavours. I wanted to tell you about flavours for the cake pops. Okay, so I say it so often, but you really can go to town on flavours. So this is the chocolate or Chocolicious, what I call cake pops. That's my name for a flavour. You could do choc mint. So it'd be chocolate mud cake, peppermint essential oil. I'd dip it in dark chocolate, and then I'd drizzle it with the green chocolate. So colours in food mean flavours as well, and green always means mint or peppermint. I wouldn't add coloured buttercreams to this. I wouldn't add a green buttercream to a chocolate cake mix. It would just make it a grey, quite a grey swampy colour. So don't add different colours, or you can add a chocolate ganache. Okay, so dip 1, dip 2. So that would be a choc mint. You could do a Jaffa. So again, it'd be the chocolate mud cake. It would be fresh orange juice, fresh orange zest, and then you could dip it in an orange chocolate, for example. So orange chocolate would be white chocolate, melt it, and then add an orange food powder that is oil based. So you must get the oil based, remember, for the chocolate. And then you could drizzle that with a dark chocolate, for example. So it would be a Jaffa. You could go a cookies and cream. So that would be cookies and cream. I would do the base being a white chocolate mud cake, and then I'd process that, and then I'd stir through some crumbs of some Oreo cookies. Then I'd dip that in a white chocolate, and then while it's setting about this stage, I'd dip it again in cookies. So it's got white chocolate with cookies all over it. So that's cookies and cream. What else could you do? You could do tiramisu. You could do Jaffa. Oh, we did Jaffa. We could do mocha. You could do espresso. You could, you start to get chocolate everywhere too. You could do white chocolate. You could do caramel. You could do lemon cheesecake. Cheesecakes you can go to town on to as well. So, you know, think berry, think chocolate. Cheesecake cake pops are pretty awesome as well. And then what else? And then you can go liqueurs. So think Tia Maria, think strawberry liqueur, think strawberries and champagne. So I would do strawberries and champagne with either vanilla cake or white chocolate mud cake, fresh strawberries, and then splashes of champagne. And I dip that in a light pink white chocolate. And then you could finish that off with like a luster dust or an edible glitter. And that would be brilliant for like a hen's party. So once they start setting and you need your spaces for freshies, just take them off and pop them on the bench. Just do it gently. Okay, so flavor wise, really can, sky's the limit with that one. I did forget to dip two. That's all right, I'll just dip one. Okay, so they do crack at times. Cake pops sometimes crack for some reason. They're just sitting here and then a crack will form in the cake, in the chocolate. And there could be a couple of reasons it does that. And the main reason would be temperature. So it would be either the temperature of the cake pop balls or it would be the temperature of the chocolate. So for example, if these are too cold and they're defrosting and condensation is reacting with the chocolate, or if the chocolate is too warm compared to the balls, that would be another reason why it would, cake pops would crack. And it's, in all honesty, it's just till you touch it, till you make it, till you have experience with it, that you're able to figure out what is the correct temperature so that there's no cracking. Another reason it could crack would be that there's too much weight. If you do the balls too big, there's too much weight on the top of the stick, so it will crack doing that. And also if you leave them sitting up too long. So if you leave them sitting like that for hours, they may crack as well. So that's why I put them down on the bench as well, just to stop them cracking. Now I'm up to the last two. So the occasions you could use cake pops for. These are getting very popular for birthdays. As something different than a cake, you could set up a cake pop stand or just hand out cake pops at the end of the party for kids to take home. So you don't have to worry about the whole cake thing. Or baby showers, really popular as well. You can do these upside down too, which I'll show you with the last two. Lovely. You can do upside down cake pops. So that is that they're sitting on the table, so rather up in the air. So if you were doing a candy buffet or a lolly buffet and you wanted them sitting on a table, you'd need to set them sitting up. So they will wobble around a bit, so just as they're setting, you want to get them straight up and down. So that would be beautiful for a lolly buffet or for a wedding. Cake pops are very popular for weddings as well, especially as wedding favours. Very, very popular. Anniversaries, engagements, absolutely any occasion you can use cake pops for. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my white chocolate ready and I'm going to finish these with a white chocolate drizzle. Right, it's drizzling time. We're in the home stretch. They're looking fantastic. They've got a beautiful gloss to them. Now to do the drizzle, you want your white chocolate. You don't need very much, and like I said, it's not going to waste. And you need a spatula of some description, and you need to do this motion, backwards and forwards. Now, the first time you pick it up, there's a lot of chocolate on there. It's going to come out as a fat drizzle, so you're waiting for it to get thinner, then you put your cake pop underneath. So you hold it to the side and drizzle one side, spin it over, drizzle the other side. So again, let the fat dribble go, and then you're at the thin drizzle. they've got to set again up in on the foam block, and it just takes practice. In all honesty, I'm being quite messy, but that's just because it's fun. It doesn't really matter. So you can get them perfect, you can get them all 100% the same, but I like the rustic look, I like the home look. And then to finish them off, like I said, there's so much you can do. So luster dust is a really cool bling technique. So to do the upside down ones, again, it's exactly the same. You can add edible glitter, but then how you're presenting them can be how you're decorating them. So if you were wanting them as party favors, you'd probably want them bagged up. Or if you're presenting them at a wedding, you want maybe ribbons on each individual one, a little bow of ribbon, so white or silver or pink, whatever the color of the party is or the occasion. And you wait for them to set, and then same as before, you take them down. Put down another 2. So to bag them up, you need to get bags specific for cake pops in the size I showed you before. So let me get them out and show you. So you've got your sticker and you've got your bags. So this is, instead of using either twisties or ribbon, I use this machine. So this is mainly for the markets I would do this. So you pop your cake pop in there, spin it around, push it down, and it sticky tapes it up. Party on a stick. That tutorial was on all things cake pop. And I know, cake pops rule. I'd love to see photos of what you're able to decorate. Please send them to Rebekah at angelfoods.net. Also, on our website, you can get a free cupcake decorating video tutorial. Head to angelfoods.net. Also, if you happen to be on Facebook, check out Angel Foods and like us. Thank you so much. See you soon. They'll be fine, won't they? I don't have to redo it again, do I?
But do your homework.
True. Okay.
You might not like it.
Oh, I'm getting the blood going. Put them up. In the middle. From Angel Foods. This video tutorial was all about things cake pop. I know, they're pretty awesome. They are, but see there. Okay.
Come on, Grandpa.
She can do it. She can do it.